Good day, lads and lasses. This is the Pipepastor coming to you once again from illustrious Fresno, California, where we're actually cold at maybe 60, I think it is today. And last time I made a video, I talked about this young man here, young Brian Majors, and we're talking about accents and how I'd love to have an Irish accent, and would love to have some of you Irish guys give me an impression of an American accent, how you think we sound. But Brian took a tour over in Ireland a couple years ago and came back with a drop-dead Irish accent, and so I wanted him to show you what he's got today. I'm smoking one of my unique Tinskis. I usually get a rusticated from Mark. This is one of his smooths that he made me. Very unusual bulldog. If you notice the carvings around the bowl. Beautiful insert, silver and gold. Just a wonderful pipe. Brian's smoking one of my Nordings. Real nice pipe. Real easy on the teeth. And we're both smoking peach moss.
Really pleasant tobacco, no bite.
None at all.
I'm a lot like Pastor. I can't do really biting tobaccos, and I tend to like aromatics exclusively. I smoke a lot of Cavendishes, a lot of cherry Cavendish, and a lot of black Cavendish. So I'm kind of an amateur too.
We have another guest for you, Shakinah, my daughter. Got an Irish lass here. There you go. And so.
Where am I looking?
You're right there. Oh, you're probably looking somewhere at the top. I don't know, but she's coming out here. We're going to try to get her to start smoking a pipe here pretty soon.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think I'll be able to do it.
You know anything?
No,
Hey.
but I brought a little friend.
That's good. Hey, do you know how to talk Irish? You have an Irish accent?
No, I don't have an Irish.
You can't fake one?
No, I can't. Brian can, though.
Well, before you do, Brian, tell them a little bit about your stay in Ireland. Where'd you go? What'd you do?
About in 06, a buddy and I just backpacked across Europe for most of the summer. And we kind of just lived homeless. We brought a round trip ticket out of Dublin, and so we knew we were going to leave Dublin and we were going to have to get back to Dublin. So we were from Dublin we went up through the countryside into Belfast, and from Belfast we actually ferried across into Scotland. Spent some time in Scotland and in the Highlands. We went as far north as Inverness, for those of you in the UK or Ireland that know where that is, which is probably my favorite city in all Europe. I love the Highlands and I loved Inverness especially. Then down into England through London. We went across the channel into France, Germany, and Austria. Went as far east as Vienna and then came back, but we spent most of our time was spent in Ireland. And I don't know if this resonates to any of the Irish out there, but it was cool coming from the Central Valley, because here in California, we don't live in a really urban section of California. We live in a really agricultural center of California called the Central Valley, and it's really reminiscent in some ways of what Ireland is. It's very agriculturally driven, and so we spent a little bit of time in Dublin, but spent most of our time in the west of Ireland, in the Galway region, and then in a town called Dingle. I'm sorry, that's the English pronunciation. I can't pronounce the Irish version. I'm sorry to all the Irishmen out there.
I think that's where Kerr is from.
Where's that from?
Kerr's from Galway, yeah.
From Galway? Beautiful country. Probably my favorite part of Europe. It was either Scotland or Ireland. And I left my heart in Ireland, so that's a different story altogether, though. But you pick up on the Irish. Of the Gaelic peoples I was around, the Scots are more, I don't know, my experience, more sullen, more contemplative. The Irish are just, there's always a levity around the Irish. You know, I had a buddy we were meeting in Galway, and we were meeting him that morning, and on his way to Mass, two perfect strangers in Galway just offered him into the pub to have a beer, and you know, he said, well, I'm on my way to Mass, and he goes, well, you can catch the second Mass, just come in and have a beer. and that's
And of course he did.
And of course he did. But that's what Ireland's like. Really hospitable, a lot of fun. It was probably one of the best vacations, if not the best vacation I've ever had.
You spent some time in the pub then, did you?
I spent quite a bit of time in a pub. Quite a bit of time. The thing about the Irish is that the sort of elongation in the vowel and consonant sounds. It's very distinct from our English, which is sort of all spoken at the back of the mouth. And in Ireland, you find that everyone speaks toward the front, and the vowels are sort of elongated. Nothing's quite as sharp. If you go into Scotland, however, you find that the consonants are sort of harsh and everything, and you go north into places like Inverness, and it's almost unintelligible. If you get further north, and if you go down into Yorkshire, further down.
It's crazy.
Into London especially,
Yeah,
you find
crazy's
what
the
we call them all proper English when they pronounce words like schedule in the way they're supposed to be pronounced. But here in America, our English is so
Harsh,
different. It's
barbaric.
Yeah, it's barbaric by English standards. But it was fun talking with the English, though, as an American especially, because every time the English would get uppity, we'd just say, we settled this twice.
Oh.
I'm just playing.
Oh, wow.
Cut.
I'm just playing.
Cut.
I'm playing.
There you lost all your followers.
No, but loved it.
You
Loved
gonna
every
teach me how to
second of it.
smoke one, for real?
Especially Ireland.
Dripping.
I'm not dripping anything.
Crunched my iced tea.
Oh.
Well, let's see. Now, give us your accent. What, you got an
No,
accent? You're good at accents.
I can
Come
do
on.
the Braveheart.
Do the
I
Braveheart.
crush you like a widow. That's about
it?
Well, I can't do that after Brian. I can do like the Lucky Charms.
Do it.
uppercut. No.
Do it.
No.
Come on, Shacko. Do it.
Okay, no one here wants to hear my horrible Irish
It's true.
accent,
It's
okay?
true. That's true.
Of course I do. Of course.
Close.
Of course I do.
I can do.
Go ahead, wee lass.
You're so mean. What do I say? Give me something to say.
Say,
Top of the morning to you.
Ah, there it is. Top of the morning.
I saw their ships come sailing.
Nothing
Christmas
is better
Day in the
than me Lucky
morning.
Charms. The medic stereo surprises.
Yes, that.
You went up to Patrick Way, huh? You went up to the mountain?
I did. I went up to Croagh Patrick, which is in. I think it's still in the Galway County. It's been a while. I get the counties mixed up. I think it's in Galway, in the county. But yeah, the mountain of Patrick, where he's supposed to have spent his 40-day Lenten fast, and then afterward, driven the snakes out of Ireland. But one of the coolest just scenescapes I think I've ever seen. You get to the top, and of course you're right by sea level, and so Patrick's Mountain kind of just juts up. I'd say probably 2,500 to 3,000 feet above sea level. So you get to the top, and the panoramic is just beautiful. But yeah, really cool. Dublin is really nice, but it's really the only city in Ireland, and in my experience, it wasn't the most Irish part of Ireland, if that makes any sense. I found the more rural parts of Ireland, especially West Ireland, definitely the most fun and had the best memories for
What
me.
about the women in Ireland? How'd they look?
I
The
saw.
raven-haired-
Okay, if you're out there, just kidding.
Yeah, you lost your heart to
Give
one.
the missing,
I saw-
missing connection.
This is for Galway, you guys. If you see this girl in Galway,
If you're
Find
in Galway,
Brian's missing girl.
no, not in Galway. If you're in Dingle, if you were a shopkeeper in Dingle, and I know asking for a shopkeeper in Dingle is like, asking
Could've been
for
a man,
asking for a
honestly.
liquor store in Fresno. But the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. My friend was being really pious that day, and he just thought I was completely unsanctified. I had a different set of questions for my friend after that, but she was the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She was running a little gift store in Dingle, raven hair, blue eyes, milky skin, and I was smitten pretty well instantly. So if you're still out there, and by some miracle
even
you're
have a
still
name.
single, well, I couldn't talk
She-
to
you
her.
don't
well,
even
give
know
her
she
give
was
some
single.
description
Could've
of
been
that.
I just did.
She could have been a mom at that point. She could have been a wife.
No,
she could have been
no,
half
wasn't
man.
it.
Don't know anything about her. You don't
Let's say
know.
did
That's
she
all
have
I'm
black or
saying.
red hair?
Black hair, raven
Black
hair.
hair.
Raven.
What kind of eyes?
Raven
Like
hair.
Snow
Green.
White, Irish Snow
blue
White.
eyes.
Oh,
They're
blue
eyes.
were they?
Blue eyes, like glacial pools.
And you saw her around what area?
Glacial pool.
Dingle. It was in downtown
I
Dingle.
can get it was in Dingle, but you
I
were
think
some.
you might have to go back.
Yeah. Are you,
Yeah, I'd have to.
This will be a
has
regret
been,
the rest of your
It's
life.
been 9 years.
Were you in a
so
pub?
By the way, hope
I
Brian's
wasn't in
future
the pub.
wife sees
Were you
this
drinking
video.
beer?
I had not drank that day.
Safe to say she might be good looking then.
And it was World Cup, so,
Okay.
you know.
So guys in
You won the
Galloway,
score.
we have a lovelorn friend here, and he's
Find
quietly
her.
unrequited.
How many
Well,
years ago was this?
In her defense, I couldn't even muster the courage to. I couldn't form words, really, at this point.
I've never seen
so
him like that.
I never talked to her.
You didn't play him.
Oh
So
my
I just,
God.
I just looked
Moonlight.
on from afar. Yeah. So, but she was gorgeous.
Sorry, brother. Man,
I'm healing.
she's probably still out there.
I
She's
don't
probably
think
wondering
so.
about you. I bet you
don't
she
think
still
so.
talks about you. and her
No,
tales.
I don't think I'd eaten in a week. By the time I'd seen her, I think I weighed maybe 98
That long
pounds
hair,
at the
though.
time. So
Irish ladies, they like the lean look, man. They do. They do. It's funny you talk about the Irish's wit, their humor, because you gave me that book that one Christmas.
yeah,
I think Irish Mysticism or the Celtic Way or something like
Yeah,
that, in which they
yeah.
had a quote from Freud, which said that of all the races, the Irish cannot be psychoanalyzed.
can't be analyzed. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Great thing. Great stuff. Was it so the Crow Patrick? Was it spooky? Was it near Tara?
No, Tara's on the other side of Ireland. Tara is just south of Dublin.
I heard they recently put a parking lot around Tara.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Tara, I mean, Patrick, as far as I know, Patrick was all over Ireland. I mean, he was all over all the time. But Tara's, if I recall, and you have to forgive me for the Irish viewers, I believe Tara is just south of Dublin, and I was on the opposite side of Ireland, and I think it's in the Galway region. And Crow Patrick, it's spooky once you get to the top just because it's so quiet. And I tried to imagine what it'd be like to spend Lent up there, and that would be some spiritual discipline because it's so quiet.
The Beltane fires all.
Yeah, I mean it'd be crazy. It's really quiet. It is a little eerie, but not in a weird way. It's almost eerie in a sanctified way. So, but really neat. And there's a chapel at the top of Crow Patrick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really neat. And it is beautiful.
We've been talking. I broke from the series. We've been talking about the fact that the myth that women hold the whole virtue enterprise, that they're naturally virtuous and men are not, and talking about the fact that that's a myth, that men and women have their set of problems because of our sin nature, and that women are no more virtuous than men. They're just virtuous in different ways. And so we just finished out that series, but I'd be interested in your take on that. You know how feminism kind of teaches that women morally and in every other way are superior to men, and men are basically barely evolved apes, and how that works against trying to call the man out of boys and helping boys to be honorable and stuff like that. Yeah, what's your feeling on all that?
I definitely agree that our society teaches that men are just naturally inept and dumb, and that the women are the superiors, and I think it's flip-flopped in that regard because it used to be the opposite, I feel, but yeah, I don't agree with that at all. You know, my dad's done a good job of raising us in our home and showing us the scientific research behind the corpus callosum and how men's brains are different than women's, and yeah, like you said, we're gifted in different areas. I don't know. I mean, I think that women who are acting as feminists and acting like we have something to prove, they're coming from hurts and insecurities. You know, probably something happened to them in their life that made them feel like they had to prove themselves. I think as a whole, our culture comes from that standpoint. Like, we need to prove ourselves constantly. When I feel like there's nothing wrong being a woman and being comfortable with being feminine, and I like that. I like being a woman. I'm okay with the fact that I cry in movies, and that I'm tender, and that I'm not as strong as my dad and my brothers. That's okay with me.
Well, no, actually,
pig-headed and stubborn.
Actually,
but,
what's good about
oh,
everything you
goodness.
said is that you are strong, And we talked last week about bridge brains, and bridge brains are men who have a brain that's more feminine. They're not feminine, doesn't matter, but they're able to hold conversation. They can have spontaneous language to their thoughts, and women who are like men in a lot of areas, they get kind of they get irritated at drama.
A lot of
They don't
adrenaline.
like drama. Yeah, they like to fight. Shakinah's a classic example of that. You know, she'd like to get all dirty, scratched up, and bloody, and then go take a shower, clean up, and look really good.
I nailed
So
that.
this is a bridge brain. This is a bridge brain girl, and
Little balance
tie her hair
there.
back a little bit, put a football in her hand, she'll kill you, she'll hurt you, she'll gut you.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely exceptions to the generals, but I think that it's hard. It's like people don't want to embrace the natural, the way that we were made as women and as men. So, you know, it's good to do some research on that, find out how we're wired. I mean, statistics say it. It's like when they ask I read a book, I don't know how many years ago, but the waffle one about men's brains are like waffles, and they put things in boxes, and the women are like spaghetti, and everything intertwines. It's so accurate, you know. And they had all these questions they asked men, and it was like 80% would answer a certain way, and it just proves, you know, that we're wired those ways. And
You guys hear me talking constantly as a pro man, talking about manliness and that kind of thing. Some of you that are women and you're a stronger kind of a woman, we're tempted to get the wrong impression from me. So, you know, I raised a daughter. I have 2 sons. This is my baby.
I'm not too much of a screw up, so.
And so she's somewhat sane. But did I ever give you the message that because you're a girl, you were limited in what you could do or be, or that you had to be, you know, welcome
a certain
mat?
way, or no? I mean, if anything, my dad taught me not to be mousy and a doormat, and to stand up, just as strong as my brothers in my beliefs and who I was as a person. And I never felt gender played a role into that. It was more about crafting us for our particular giftings or personalities. But he's definitely a fan of the heroines in the books, you know, all about a woman who can, like Joan of Arc, that can hold her own and fight, and along with the boys. I tend to bond more with Eowyn's character in Lord of the Rings, more so than, like, you know, Arwen or the other more graceful ones. But yeah, I definitely felt like he taught me and equipped me to be stronger.
And yet you're also pro-feminine. You like a little girl to learn to dress up and all that. So I mean, it's possible. You don't have to be ultra feminist. I'm going to use a different word this year when I reverse this trend and I start talking about women this year in our church and empowering women. We all discussed this as a staff that it's time I start doing that. And I prefer the term womanist to feminist, and womanism is a different movement right now. And womanism captures, I think, a Christ-centered perspective on equality and on the power and the role that women play in a society and in a culture, without having to diminish men or bash men or cause women to feel that they have to grasp for power and all that. Not that women have to compete harder. No one's going to argue that in a lot of areas in life. And competing in a man's world and men's jobs and that kind of thing, it is unfair in certain areas, and we can't argue that. But on the whole, we try to derive our roles based on the Spirit of Christ. And Jesus was a manly man, led the way, boy. He was plowed the way. He was a man's man. But the Bible says in Philippians 2, he did not count equality something with God to be grasped, but that he made himself a servant and took on the form of a servant. And so in the ways that Christ led, men find servanthood in terms of protection, provision, and so forth and so on, taking the bullet. Women find servanthood in not grasping for equal equality with their men, but taking on by their own agreement, by their own volunteer choice, to be submitted to the men in their life that God has given the role of being head. And, you know, that's a whole different discussion. What
What does that look
headship,
like?
yeah,
Yeah.
what's headship in the Bible? Does that headship mean I'm the boss of my wife, I'm the chief, I'm the master, she's the servant? Or biblically, does it mean headwaters? It means that from headship flows the blessings and the empowerment for everybody else in the family to be whom they need to be. So we'll be talking about that this year, but this is proof positive. Brian's another one who comes from a family whose dad is unquestionably the head of his family, but a very strong mother. Wouldn't you agree? Your mom, very Portuguese.
Yes, sir.
Portuguese
Very.
woman, and very strong as well. And the way that you see his father Brad and his mother Lynn work out the biblical roles given the men and women through their own personality it just works. It's balanced. It works. I hope it works in my family as well. Although at times my wife's pretty strong, but like I said, she's strong in areas that our culture would require me to be strong in. She can fix anything. I break things. She's good with numbers and managing the finances. I get dyslexic with minutiae, but we make it work. I assume responsibility for everything, but we make it work. And we play to her advantages and her strengths. She plays to my advantages and my strengths. And so that's what we're about. We're not about, you know, raising up men and squashing women. But in our culture in America, I think it's even more so in Europe. You could say what you feel. In America, most especially, the message is so strong that men and boys are supposed to be women in order to be better versions of themselves. We're supposed to be more like women, more in touch with our feelings, go against our chemistry. That we find that when it comes to healing boys and helping boys be men and men be men, we're fighting against a story they believed about themselves that is not biblically endorsable. And so that's why you'll feel a push from me when speaking. It's a push against feminism, not against women. No.
There's definitely like a saying in our church about freedom and submission, and I feel like as women that's ring true in my life. You know, that the times that I feel most free and comfortable and secure is when I'm submitted, and when I'm not, then it's like a tornado. You know, I'm just on the loose, and I feel like I wreck things, and I don't have security. I don't feel free and safe, and so, you know, I definitely think that that's what the Lord was preaching in the Bible when he was talking about submitting to the head of your house. You know, it's supposed to be your father, and then transition right into your home for your husband. And what are you saying over there,
What?
Brian? Have you guys seen The Quiet Man? That's probably one of Brian's favorite
Hey.
examples of this.
Quiet
With
Man.
Don't mess with the
Marina
Quiet
O'Hara.
Man.
Quiet man.
John Wayne in Ireland, Quiet
Okay,
Man.
I
A
visited the
perfect
town where
example of
I visited that
needed
town.
submission.
You
And did you
visited
pl-
the
you
town where he spanked
Totally
Marina
played it
O'Hara.
out.
I
Played it
did.
out in your
Oh
head,
my
didn't you?
gosh.
The lass on the
Easily
hill
one of
with
the
the
coolest
sheep.
towns in Ireland you'll be in. But yeah, the town where they shot The Quiet Man with John Wayne.
Totally envisioned himself doing that too.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did with your
But
little laugh.
all joking aside, in an unsanctified way, I guess it fits the Christian worldview. It's a fun movie, but I think you could tweak it to really preach some cool stuff.
It's true.
We still
She needed
like
that.
John Wayne spanking Marina O'Hara, man.
We're Americans. We
And
still like
in
John Wayne.
McClintock, he
same,
spanked her with a pan.
She
Same
needed
movie.
to stand up
Same
to that
movie.
dang
The same-
brother.
Same movie.
Just westernized.
Same movie.
It was about time the brother got checked. I mean, that's who I wanted to get spanked and
He gets in a,
stupid
brother
he
gets
gets in a
spanked.
10-minute fist fight with him.
Yeah, but he should have just knocked him out.
Oh,
He
no,
did
it was
knock him
it's
out.
25 minutes.
Freaking-
20, the
25
break in
minute
between.
fist fight?
Remember the break in
Yeah,
between?
it was
that's
a
right.
long
Had to break
time
the
because they
beer.
had the beer and
Break
the
the bar.
yeah.
Each other beers.
And hey, this is the difference between men and women.
What?
Two women get in a fight for 25 minutes, you're not going to speak for 25 years. John Wayne is running like getting a fight. What happens at the end? Takes him home for dinner.
Boom.
Takes him, best friends.
It's all good.
Oh,
Best
gosh.
best friends. At the end of the fight, he says, "Yank, I think I'm taking a liking to you."
And it takes just as long for you guys to form friendships, though. For women, we can form
What?
friendships in 25 minutes and become instant friends and know that we have a friend for life. For you guys, it takes years to build that kind of friendship, right? It's the same.
I haven't found that to be true.
That's
Goodness.
a stereotype,
It is
man.
not. I'm saying that
What are you
there's
ta-
advantages.
These guys
to-
here in the pipe smoking community of Ireland,
Yeah.
pipe smokers of Ireland, we're ready to
Instantly-
die for each other.
Oh,
We just
God.
talk to each other through the video.
Oh, sorry, I need to.
Man,
Hot new
son.
worldviews.
son, woman.
Ay.
I think it's a general rule: men bond through conflict.
So what do
Whether
women
it's-
bond through then?
Drama.
I think it's more relational, man. I mean, it's harder for two guys to get together and make a friendship over coffee. It's easy. It's why guys that have played sports together.
Well, notice this.
Yeah.
Brian and I are talking to each other, shoulder to shoulder, without looking at each other. Brian, Shakinah, looking at us when she's talking to us. A clear example of the different ways that women relate and men relate.
I want to see your guys' eyes and your
Bam!
mannerisms so that I know what.
I don't need to see your eyes.
What?
In fact, if you're looking in my eyes too long, we're going to have an issue.
It's like that pit bull thing. You don't look at someone in the eye that long.
No.
What happens?
But we look this way,
Yeah.
talk this way.
So
I feel
men
like,
are
man,
less
we're just,
personable.
I'm looking right in your soul, and I'm not even looking through
No,
your eyes.
I think with guys, it's a respect thing. It's just respect thing. You don't mad dog someone. You don't look them in the eye for too long. It's about 10 seconds
don't.
on, and then you go
But it's
off.
only mad dogging.
We're
if
not saying
it's
that you
men,
do
right?
that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's just a guy thing.
No,
If a girl looks at a guy for more than 10 seconds, he's getting a whole other set of thoughts in his head.
and
Whole
we'll
other
look
set
right
of
back.
thoughts. Yeah,
Oh, baby, you know.
yeah. Tend to look
Oh,
goofy.
baby.
Oh, which is
Whoa.
about how I looked in Dingle.
Listen.
That's about how I
That's
looked.
it.
It was like looked like
I don't know if
Odie.
you're looking.
Listen, we know how to look a girl in the eye, open up our heart, and
Oh,
get
yeah.
teary-eyed even.
Players
If
gonna
it's
play.
certain, it's
Players
you
gonna
know,
play.
it's
skill.
like fishing.
A whole other conversation, huh? Mackers of the world. Yeah, but we can read that. Women have intuition. The thing is, women just
Sometimes.
allow
No,
themselves
they
to be
can't.
fooled. I
No.
feel.
No, absolutely they can.
It's true.
Very
I
adept
feel
at it.
we're
Very
very
adept
intuitive
at
with
it.
that.
Yes.
And are you just saying yes really quickly while I'm talking just to cut me off? Or you?
No.
Here, let me just move out of the way.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I think women are. They're just.
These two are lifelong
choosing-
friends. They're like brother and
choosing
sister.
to-
So, did I mention that she's my daughter? Did I mention he's my son in the faith? Just to make sure.
The Godfather is what Brian. My dad used to have Brian, among other men, follow me around on my
What?
formal dates and do his bidding for him. Don't
You
even
need to
act
rob
innocent
Pennington.
here. What?
Nothing.
Derek painted.
No, I didn't say
It's
anything.
gonna get online.
Whatever. Yeah.
That wasn't just him. It was anyone followed me around. Still finding out dirty deeds that you had done for you.
That's a darn lie.
It's true.
I think going back to the thing about feminism, I think reel us back in here.
Where's that horn? Get that horn out.
We can't do that on the video.
Yes, you absolutely
That is
can.
I got this from my dad.
Okay.
I think
But-
what I love about
Don't say anything else.
I
Give
mean,
her the horn, Brian.
Brian, arm's reach.
the Christian worldview, and I know we talk about the Christian worldview here, but I think what I find intoxicating about a woman is her femininity. And I think that's why when we talk about the counterculture movement, what did you refer to it as?
Womanist.
Womanism. I think that's a perfect definition of it, because I think I have to couch this with the reality that the feminist movement sprang from masculine failing, and that we failed.
Very good.
That's true.
And I think the countercultural movement in feminism exceeded getting equality for women, and now we have a culture in which women are meant to be more masculine. And I think it robs women in a cheated kind of way. It robs women of the mystique of womanhood, because nothing is more intoxicating, nothing is more alluring, nothing is more simply almost narcotic to a man than a woman who gracefully walks in her femininity. And
It's almost beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was. What if we're not graceful?
Huh? No, but what if you're not graceful? What if you're tougher? Well, there's Deborah.
but I think there's
JL.
but I think there's an innate grace to women. I don't think
Right.
women have to work at
It's
it.
innate.
It's innate. There's an innate
'Cause you're
grace to every
graceful,
woman. Yeah.
You're graceful.
Bad.
You can stumble and trip and whatever else, but you walk in grace, more so than a lot of women I know.
But it's God given. I mean, there's a natural intoxication that a man,
A woman has to be
undergoes.
wounded. If she doesn't, it's because she's wounded or something. Because you're right, it's innate.
It's innate.
That makes sense.
When men are being masculine, it's intoxicating to women, I find. No matter
But see,
how much culturism says.
you using that term for some of the women that are listening, they hear overlording patriarchy. They're hearing,
Just right away
misogyny.
No way. I mean, and again, this is personal context. I mean, I'm not trying to preach to anyone out there, but I know in my home, my father conducted himself with confidence and with strength, but I can count maybe 2 times in my entire childhood when I ever heard my father raise his voice to my mom. And my mom was the one that normally raised her voice. And my father was very calm with her, very strong with her. never demeaned her in front of us. In fact, my father went out of his way, if he was going to have an argument with my mom, to do it out of my brother and I's presence. So doing that in strength, and I just have the biblical worldview. That's my philosophy. That's my model. It calls for wives to submit to their husbands, but it asks husbands to die to themselves and to their wives as Christ died for the church. So the male imperative is always greater. The demand on the man is always higher. And I think that people read that out of context and miss the entire essence of the gospel, which is self-denial and self-dying.
Dang.
So
That's well said.
But yeah, I think when it's done right, there is nothing more. Personally, as a single man, I'm telling you, single ladies out there, there's nothing more intoxicating than a woman who acts in feminine strength. Is the way I'd put it. It's feminine strength, and it is intoxicating. That's the best way to put it.
Would you say the Irish women are strong?
I'd say they're quite strong.
Would you Irish guys out there agree with that? Because this is us Americans talking.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
It seems like, the Irish women that I have known have been strong,
Stubborn.
flame on temper.
Yeah.
You push them so far, and then when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But then again, I'm half Sicilian, and Sicilian women cover the other half of that spectrum. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and she's both. Can you imagine that? Both. She's an Irish and Italian woman on steroids. Would you agree with that? Beautiful.
I think you did a great job raising
There
your
you
daughter.
go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Nice
Well,
answer.
you didn't raise Shakinah. You just Pecos build it. You know what I mean?
She described herself as a tornado, didn't she?
Tornado. Riding the tornado with this girl.
Fight me
Do it again.
Excuse me while I beat Brian on camera.
Again.
The whole world. See. Get away.
You're proving
Never
our point here.
Boom, right there. And
That
then, did you
was a
see that?
rained-in tornado. I could have unleashed it. And I
Why are
rained it
you
back.
so violent all the time?
I'm not violent. I am
She had two brothers.
calculated with- Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
both
take the heads off
of
my
whom have been on
Barbie.
Oprah.
You need more real Dr. Phil, right? Or who's the newest talk show host?
Who's the newest talk show
Yeah,
host?
who's the new Oprah?
I lose
Gosh,
track.
who?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like 7 of them now.
Hmm.
You would have been a great talk show host.
No, I would not have.
Yeah, you would have.
Said all the things I didn't want to hear, and
Well,
Brian would have been.
No.
I could see Dr. Brian.
No.
oh no, bad.
No.
Bad.
Well, maybe not with men. No, actually, you're right. Not with women either. It wouldn't have been good.
Oh, no. And the man camps that we have, Brian's our martial artist, so he's the one that's teaching the boys how to fight, and he's one of the speakers there, and he speaks into the lives of these boys too, and he's a cop now. He's going to be hired on here pretty soon, and Madera, if you notice, I surround myself with young men that I've discipled that are policemen, because no doubt I'll probably need their help one day. Yeah, on the other side of it, I mean, they may have to cuff me, I don't know, but so proud of you, Brian, so proud of you, honey. Yeah, got a lot of great young men and ladies in the church that are there because of these two and the synergy that they've had together and the ministry that they've had in the church with other people, and to that I'm grateful. Well, this is the Pipepastor, Shekinah Ray, Brian Aubrey, and it's good talking to you guys, and God bless you till the next time we meet. We're signing off.